So I was watching The Legend of Korra the other day, right? And I came across this beautiful quote that really resonated with me. And I guess the quote caused me to sort of reflect and look back at some of the points in my life in which I found myself at the lowest. And some of the points in my life in which I hit rock bottom, right? And the aftermath of those points. And the quote says, "It is when we are at our lowest point that we are open to the greatest change." I'm gonna say it again. It is when we are at our lowest point that we are open to the greatest change. And if you clicked on this video, then you're probably at a very low point in your life. You'll probably be at the lowest point that you have ever been in your whole entire life. Maybe you had a breakup, a terrible breakup. A relationship ended and you didn't expect it to end, but it did. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you lost someone close to you. Maybe you're confused about life and you don't know where to turn, you don't know what to do. Or maybe you're just worried about the future. You're not optimistic about the future, so on and so forth. And you're experiencing all the low emotions that you can think of. Frustration, confusion, anger, sadness, loneliness. All the emotions that you can think of, you're experiencing them at this moment. And it is okay to let yourself feel, right? It is absolutely okay to let yourself feel those emotions. Don't ever think for a second that there is something wrong with allowing yourself to feel. Because the only way you can get through those emotions and heal is if you allow yourself to feel. If you allow them to pass through you, right? But even in the midst of those negative emotions you're experiencing, I need you to know that you are at a very important point in your life right now. This is the point in your life in which you are open to the greatest change possible. In which you are open to the greatest change that you could possibly experience in your life if you would just allow it. If you would just embrace this moment. If you would use this moment to self-reflect, to introspect, to go within yourself and make the changes that your life needs in order for your life to change. See, whenever I found myself in the past in these low moments, right? I kid you not, 100% of the time, I always come out on the other side of these low moments as a new me. I always evolve more. I always grow more. I always heal more. I always step into a new me. Because whenever I hit these low moments, I can't continue to live in my illusions anymore. I have to face myself. I have to ask myself the right questions. I need to change if I need my life to change. Right? Whenever I hit these low moments, I have to self-reflect and I have to ask myself, where did I go wrong? What in my life needs to change? What am I holding on to that I need to let go? Right? And I think life sort of has to break us down in order to build us back up. And whenever we hit these low moments in our lives, we can't continue to live in our illusions. We can't continue to tell ourselves that everything is okay even when it's not. We can't continue to avoid the truth. We can't continue to lie to ourselves. We have to face reality when we hit these low moments. And for a lot of us, right, we are very stubborn when it comes down to life. How many of us avoid things that we know we need to do? How many of us wake up every day and constantly lie to ourselves? How many of us tell ourselves that everything is okay even when we know it's not? How many of us live in our illusions and our delusions? And it is until the pain gets unbearable. It is until we are so low. It is until we are so frustrated. It is until the suffering is too much. That is the time when we need to change, or that is the only time we do change. So sometimes those low moments are a blessing in disguise. When you hit those low moments, that is life trying to wake you up. That is life telling you that you need to change something if you want something to change in your life. I remember reading this book. I think it's a Joe Dispenza book, Becoming Supernatural. Yeah, that's what it's called. And there was this story about a lady who everything in her life that could possibly go wrong went wrong, right? Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. And she was avoiding her pain. She was avoiding the suffering that she was experiencing. And every day she woke up, she lied to herself. She told herself that everything is fine. She continued to avoid the truth that was right in front of her the entire time. And it was when she hit a very low point that she had to look herself in the mirror, and she had to say to herself, something needs to change. I can't keep going on like this. I need to change something in my life. I need to seek out help. I need to seek out guidance. It was when she hit rock bottom that she had no choice but to face the truth. And she had no choice but to seek out the change that her life needed. It was at rock bottom. And for a lot of us, because we're so stubborn, it is not until we hit those low moments that we begin to implement change in our lives. And I think in every single thing, in every single low moment, there is a seed of growth in it. And I think if we don't allow ourselves to find that seed of growth, if we don't allow ourselves to self-reflect, if we don't allow ourselves to seek out change, then not only will our lives stay stagnant, but we will continue to perpetuate the suffering that we're experiencing. And I think a lot of us in this world, we find it hard to look ourselves in the mirror and say to ourselves, I need to change. I don't know if it's a thing, if it's an ego thing, or what it is, but for a lot of us, we find it hard to say to ourselves, something has to change. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Right? For me, when I look back at my past self, to be honest with you, there were moments in my life in which I know that I needed to change something. But because I was caught up in this cycle of constantly blaming the world and blaming other people, blaming my life situation on, circumstances, so on and so forth. And this is not to say outside events and outside things and outside people can't affect your life, right? But it is to say that I kept blaming outside things to avoid taking accountability for my life. And even if people affect your life and outside circumstances do affect your life, at the end of the day, the responsibility is on us to make the change. The responsibility is on us to look ourselves in the mirror, to see where we went wrong, and to seek out the change that we need. There is no power in blaming your life circumstances on outside people and outside circumstances, right? There's no power in that. In order for your life to change, you have to take responsibility for your life. You can't avoid the circumstances you're in. You can't keep blaming other people, because every single time you blame someone else for the way your life is, even when that person might have impacted your life, you take away the power that you have to change your life. And if you don't think you have the power to change your life, then how can your life change? No one is going to come into your life and change it. No one is going to come into your life and give you the life that you want. No one is going to come into your life magically and facilitate the healing that you need. And even if someone does show up to help in some way to try to facilitate the healing that you need or implement change in your life, you have to be open to that person. You have to be able to lower your ego. You have to be able to say to yourself, this is the opportunity that I need to change my life. You have to. And that is something that I had to learn. But for a lot of us, when we find ourselves in those low moments, that is the greatest opportunity that we will have to change our lives. So it's not about avoiding the feelings. It's not about acting as if everything is okay even when it's not. You have to acknowledge what you want to heal. But it is about recognizing that those low moments are the perfect moments to self-reflect. Those low moments are the perfect moment to look within yourself and see what your life needs in order to change. See what you need in order for you to heal. Look at the things that you've been holding on to and say to yourself, I need to let them go. Right? Your lowest point could be your turning point if you allow it to be. And if you recognize that even in the lowest moments, there is an opportunity for great change in your life. So allow yourself to feel all the emotions that you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel them all. But don't waste this moment. You could completely turn your life around if you self-reflect, if you introspect, if you change what you know needs to be changed in your life in order for your life to change. And I promise you, if you do those things, you will look back at this moment in your life and you will sort of thank this moment. You'll be grateful for this moment. Because this low moment that you're in right now, it provided sort of the reflection, or it provided sort of the catalyst for you to make change in your life. So I'm not sort of praising rock bottom or, acting as if, it is what I should say. I'm not praising it or acting as if, it doesn't hurt to be at this point. But what I'm saying is that right now, you are open to the greatest change that you could possibly make. And it's about you seeing it as an opportunity. Seeing it as an opportunity to change, to turn over a new leaf, to step into a new you. Right? Now is the time. Now is the opportunity. So make the use of it, right? Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here with me. Give yourself a bit of love every day, like I always say. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace and blessings.